left off, I was working on the base. I had a few iterations of the base that I could take on because the base sits centrally and the sculpture kind of wraps around the base. So I was thinking, how is that plinth going to come up and connect the sculptural pieces to the plinth? So that's fully welded with reimbursements, and then I capped it off and added this pole jutting out of the top. Not the most beautiful, pleasing looking apparatus that I thought of, but it really was just a way to connect the fence pieces so that it looks like it's floating around that plinth. But for this, the fence posts are so tightly welded together that you really can't see what's going on internally within that plinth area. So at the end of the day, I thought it really doesn't matter if this piece looks a little silly right now because it's really just going to be encased. And this is a way for me to go in to the sculpture and do some really nice solid welds in there and get that all nice and clean so that as the sculpture wraps together and closes in on itself, I won't have to be really turning the sculpture upside down and right side up in order to get my welds in there. I'm working within the sculpture, and then it'll be closed up, and then from there I'll continue adding the pieces to the exterior, and ideally that central pole that looks a little silly won't be seen. It won't be seen. It felt great to go in and finish up that plinth. I needed a break from the monotony of making all of these fence posts. So I put one section up on the sculpture, which was very exciting. I'm really starting to see the scale of the piece and seeing how it is going to come together. And I'm also seeing, after putting the first piece on, that I don't have enough fence posts. So back to the drawing board, I've cut pieces for 5 new fence posts, which will take up about 16 inches on the back side. This has just been a great exercise in figuring out my dimensions and what I'm going to need. I imagine after these 5 fence posts, I'm going to need to make about 5 to 7 more for the next section that goes around the sculpture. Fingers crossed. I hope I only have 10 more of these to make and I'll be ready to go. Fingers crossed.